Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for having me as a speaker for this web series. My name is Shilpi Shah, and I'm currently a student at the University of California, Berkeley. I have just completed my sophomore year. I'm studying applied math and economics, and I'm right in the smack dab middle of college. Today, in this video, I wanted to share with you some of the challenges, the learning lessons, and tips that I have from my 2 years at Cal. Everyone says that college is the best 4 years of your life. They're not wrong. They say that college is when you really learn the most about yourself. They're still not wrong. They say that you make lifelong friendships during college. They aren't wrong at all. I heard all of this during high school and before I set foot in college, but I never actually believed it. It all sounds too cliche, and you all probably think the same thing. And that's good. I hope that through the many anecdotes that I present to you today, you can start to get a glimpse into what college is really like. And to best organize my thoughts, I have divided this presentation into 3 main parts: academics and career exploration, extracurriculars, and social satisfaction. So within academics, there were 3 common phases, I guess, during college. The first was figuring out what exactly I wanted to do. What major did I want to pursue? The second was how I would go about pursuing that major. What path, what classes should I be taking? And the third is, what would a future in this major and with this major look like? But how do we figure out what exactly we want to do? I walked into college with a completely different set of expectations than the path that I'm on right now. I started off intending to major in business and maybe do a double major in computer science or mathematics. I wasn't sure which one, but my focus was on business. Post-graduation, I was fixated on doing what I saw others do: get a cool job within a consulting firm. And so, like any other ambitious freshman, I set out to plan the perfect formula that would get me the perfect job. I would get into Berkeley Haas and declare business, combine it with either CS or mathematics as my double major, join one of the big name consulting groups on campus, balance that out with a fun extracurricular activity like a dance team. And then finally, this would combine into the best formula so that no company could reject me. At least that's what I thought. I made a spreadsheet with all of my classes for the next 4 years, assuming I declared a business major, and had both scenarios, business and math and business and CS. I had planned every single class that I wanted to take for every single semester. I even had another spreadsheet where I tracked all the companies that I wanted to apply to for internships and for careers later on. So in this first month of my first semester of freshman year, I literally had my entire college career planned. Clearly, I had high hopes and high expectations, but boy, did that change. My first semester, I decided to dip my toes in both CS and math by taking an Intro to CS course and a calculus course. I liked both classes, but I started to lean towards my math classes a lot more. And so by the end of first semester, I had decided that I would double in a math major alongside business. Fast forward to the fall semester of my sophomore year, so this is fall 2019, I was taking an economics course as a requirement for the business major and ended up loving that class. This professor was fantastic, and the concepts and analysis I learned were extremely interesting. I decided to take another class with the same professor in the spring of sophomore year, this past semester. And at this point, I was definitely not following the original spreadsheet that I had planned first month of freshman year. But I was curious to see what would happen, so I dove into the second economics class. And that class was the best course I have taken in all of Berkeley. The professor was amazing, the concepts were intriguing, and learning about the economy during the pandemic was insanely interesting. So here I was, facing the most challenging dilemma of my life. I had spent the last 4 semesters, the last 2 years bent over majoring in business, and now was in a position where I was questioning whether or not that was even for me. I was disappointed in myself for wasting so much time during the first 2 years of college, taking classes that I didn't necessarily enjoy or wasn't as curious from. I never felt the same curiosity or excitement in my business classes as I did in math or economics. this semester was one where I really thought about my decisions and my career path and decided to completely change my major to applied math and economics. And so here I am, halfway through college and finally have a hold on what exactly I want to study. Admittedly, I was late in the game, but now the question was how to pursue that major. Most of my friends were majoring in CS. In fact, I didn't know a single other math major when I decided to do an applied math major. I was completely lost. There was no set path on which classes to take for a math major. I didn't know how to organize my classes, what concentration I would study, what job opportunities there would be in the future, and much more. And it literally felt like I didn't know anyone else in the same boat as me because they had declared their freshman year. They knew what they were doing all along. So this is when I learned the most useful skill in college, networking. And I've heard this term networking so much, but I never actually knew what it meant. Then in the fall, I randomly applied to an actuarial science program and was contacted by a recruiter at Prudential. Now, when you're approached by a recruiter, save their email and reply immediately. Maintain that conversation. Keep following up throughout the year. I kept doing that all year and was eventually accepted into an actuarial science program for this summer. With these conversations, I got more connections with other actuaries at Prudential and started asking them for advice. I asked them more about what actuarial science is, why they chose it, what classes I should be taking, when I should be doing my classification exams, my certification exams, etc., and more advice on my college path. Although I didn't have the traditional clear-cut path on what I'd be doing for the rest of college and the rest of my life, having these professional connections really helped me work towards what's the right path for me, regardless if it was a paved one or unpaved. So now, sure, I was at a point where, the majors were decided. I also had an idea of what I was going to do in the next 2 years and how to prepare myself for the future. But the question that came up now was whether or not there was security in this major. In my original freshman year, first month plan, I was set on working at a consulting firm. And I still wanted to do that, but I wasn't sure how a math and econ major would play a role to get the best position. Through one of the clubs that I'm a part of, Berkeley Women in Business, I had the opportunity to meet another recruiter from PwC, which is an accounting consulting firm, who connected me with the actuarial areas of consulting. Once again, these connections allowed me to see different applications of my major in areas of risk management and strategy, all within the huge realm of consulting. Essentially, this last semester, when I finalized my major, this last semester has been a huge wake-up call for me. I realized that 1, I should take classes that actually interest me and make me curious and make me excited to go to class and learn. 2, I realized that college is the only time that you can actually build on technical skills. I walked into college thinking that business was what I was destined to do, but I realized that more technical classes like math and economics actually intrigued me a lot more. It was scary considering the difficulty of the class and the fear of failing, but that's what college is for. You just have to jump in and try your best at every step. And finally, 3, I learned that regardless of how paved the path is or unpaved it is, always, always, always reach out to different people. Listen more, take advice, take advantage of your connections, and they'll automatically give you more guidance. So this is all career and academic focused, but that definitely doesn't cover my entire college experience. A huge aspect of it were my extracurriculars. Remember that dance team I talked about at the very beginning? Well, I actually tried out for it my first semester at Cal and got in. Woohoo! Clearly, some of my planning was going on the right track. In my first year as a part of the team, I got really close with my teammates and really enjoyed the dance so much that I decided to apply for the captain position in my sophomore year and ended up getting that too. Now, being the captain of a dance team was way more work and time consuming than I had ever imagined. We were a nationally competitive team, which meant we'd spent the whole year creating a set to perform throughout the country at different competitions. In the fall semester, I used to spend 20 to 30 hours in practices working with props and choreography. In the spring semester, that increased to nearly 40 hours a week where I'd go to practices, meetings with the DJ, booking flights and hotels, and much more. I was extremely stressed, but also super motivated to do each of these tasks because of how much I loved this dance team and the dance style itself. I also joined the Jane Students Association my first semester of freshman year. This club was a cultural club where I got to interact and have discussions with other Janes at my college, and also got to put on events such as South Asian Awards Night, which highlighted the achievements of my South Asian community on campus. I eventually became the co-president of this club during my sophomore year and got to lead these events throughout the past year. But these events, again, required lots of planning for the venue, the caterers, decorations, entertainment, much more. But again, I loved doing all of this because of my love for JSA. Through these extracurricular activities, I learned a lot more about time management. There were times where I'd be heavily involved in planning these extracurricular activities that I'd put my academics on the back burner. And there were other times during midterms and finals where I'd be so stressed with my classes that I'd completely forget about my extracurriculars and fall behind in both clubs. Through these past 2 semesters, in leadership in both of these clubs, I realized how much time management and balance within one's schedule mattered. I started using my Google Calendar a lot more, allocating time to study, time to work on club stuff. I made a checklist to remind myself of the tasks I needed to complete and would check them off throughout the day. These small checks honestly gave me all the push I needed to keep going through the day and accomplish all my tasks. And now I live by my Google Calendar and daily checklists like they're my Bible. Every Sunday or Monday morning, I'll go through the week and allocate my meetings, classes, or any other prior commitments I have. And then each night I'll plan the next day's open times with things that I want to accomplish that day and make a separate checklist with details. Even right now, I have allocated approximately like an hour to film this video, and hopefully I finish by then. And yes, there are days where I don't completely follow my schedule to the T, but that's okay. You have to be flexible and you have to be okay with change. Outside of Ross and JSA, I also joined a more professional club, Berkeley Women in Business, this past semester. It was kind of scary joining in because when I applied, I'd already had a niche group of friends that I was very comfortable with, and I didn't really know anyone in this club and applied literally just for kicks. I was eventually selected and honestly has been the best eye-opening experience. It gave me the opportunity to interact with other majors from business to cog sci to data science to econ to literature, philosophy, you name it. This group exposed me to new people, very different from my friend group, new ideas and new connections, which allowed for more networking. So there's no set path of what to do in college. I could go up to you and give you this formula that if you take these classes, if you do these extracurriculars, if you spend time doing this, you'll get a perfect job at the end. But I can also guarantee that this formula will get messed up along the way, and it won't go as planned. And that's good, because it's when that formula messes up that you learn the most about yourself and allow yourself to grow. So now this final segment of this talk is about the social aspect of college. Social satisfaction. If there are 2 things that you can't get instant gratification from, it's job satisfaction, feeling like you love what you do every day, and social satisfaction, because creating strong relationships takes work. There have been countless times where I've talked to people about my friends and raved about them. When we were young, we think friendships are easy, and they are in a way. But here's the thing. Because of that instant gratification craze, we think saying hi to someone, being able to keep a snap streak, or being tagged in an Instagram photo is the highest form of friendship. We measure our friends by followers and likes, and I'm sure you've all heard this before and seen it before. But being in college, being around friends who you live with, study with, work with, is a whole other story. I surprisingly met my closest friends in college during the first week of classes. We used to go to classes together, study together, go to dining halls together, literally everything. We even used to have these random guav nights where we make half-assed guacamole in our dorm rooms and play some love in the background and played codenames. It was honestly the best. In sophomore year, we all got apartments and lived less than 3 minutes away from each other. We'd hang out every day, eat dinner at each other's places, study together, or again, just play some codenames and werewolf. Through these interactions, I got to know my friends really well. I know that my roommate Shreya is extremely disciplined and will follow her schedule so precisely that she likes her bed to be made, but doesn't really care if her desk isn't super duper clean. I know that my friend Soham is extremely goal-oriented, and if he says he's going to do something, he'll definitely get that done, and will put his 100% effort into it. I know that my friend Sneha has the best work hard, play hard balance, and will study Monday through Thursday, but will also make sure to enjoy her weekends. I learned so much about these people, and they really became my family in college. Making the right group of friends has also allowed me to have the confidence I needed to pursue the academic and extracurricular goals I had. These people would support me if I told them that I wanted to do something that wasn't necessarily the natural path, but it would also give me advice on whether or not they think I'm ready for certain decisions. When I went up to them saying, "Oh, I'm thinking of becoming a captain for my dance team," they supported me throughout and they thought it was a great decision. I'd go to them to ask whether or not this class was good for me the next semester, and they'd straight up tell me, "I don't think you're ready for this class," or "Yes, take this class, the professor is amazing." I can easily tell them if they're doing something wrong, and they can easily tell me the same thing. For the first time, I felt like the friends I had were actually looking out for me and wanted me to genuinely succeed. And on top of all of this, I learned so much from them. From Shreya, I learned how to organize my time. I stole her Google Calendar and checklist methods and started implementing those. From Soham, I learned to put 100% effort into whatever I do. And that taught me to not only take on tasks, that taught me to only take on tasks that I truly care about, and that would be easier to put in that 100% effort in. From Sneha, I learned that it's good to take a break and good to go out on a Friday night and have fun. Constant grinding can make you burnt out. From my other roommate, Ruchi, I learned how to say no to invitations if I felt like I didn't want to go or had other priorities. I can be my weird, crazy self around these people, and I love that the most about college. Make the right friends, and this experience will definitely be a lifetime for you. Considering the fact that you are all students taking time out of your summer vacation to watch me speak about college and tips for college, I'm assuming that you guys are very driven and goal-oriented individuals. That's amazing. You probably have some formulas laid out for yourself on how you want college to go. That's amazing too. Keep it up, but be open to change and be willing to step into new environments, even when it feels comfortable. There's this phrase that my sister told me about. Passion is novelty. It's about doing something new, even if it means not doing what you intended to do. Whether that was me with my plans to study business or get into consulting clubs, or to follow a path that was very formulaic and set up for me. It's the idea that you can learn skills by talking to new people and exposing yourself to new environments that you don't even know exist. All in all, if there's one way to summarize this whole talk, I'd say 1, be okay to change. 2, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And 3, surround yourself with a strong support system. And I can guarantee that unlike that formula, your college experience will be amazing and you will succeed post-graduation. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a great summer.